So you want to use a magicka sorcerer, but where do you start? What actually works? Well, in this video, I'm going to showcase just that. I'm Dan, this is Unified Gaming, and we're just going to jump straight in. So first up, what race are we? We are a Breton on this build. This gives you magicka, extra resources, and just loads and loads of cost reduction. So this is a great race for sustain. You can also play this type of build on a high elf or a dark elf, and even an imperial, just because of the sustain they get. But all in all, race doesn't matter massively. As for our stat page, quickly buffing up, we have without potions 43,000 magicka, almost 3,600 spell damage, 1,942 recovery, and lots of defense. So this is a tanky build that hits really hard and has good sustain. If you want to make this tankier, you can go with vampire, but that's up to you. As for those attributes, I personally put all of them into magicka, as I use this for PvE as well, but that's up to you. If you are going to go into Battlegrounds, using the build as it is works perfectly fine, as you can see in the gameplay. But if you go into Cyrodiil, you may want to have a bit more health, which you can use by using attributes, or by changing a few glyphs should you wish. As for our Mundus stone, I'm using the Arch-Mage Mundus stone, which I personally feel is probably the best one for sorcerer, as their skills can be quite expensive. Consumable wise, we're using bewitched sugar skulls, health, magicka, and stamina. And if you are a vampire, although you lose some health recovery, the health regen in PvP is really bad anyway, so I wouldn't worry. If you can't afford this, you can use normal purple food, and if you want to use sustained food, you can go witch mothers, or you could use the citrus circulus fillet, I think it is, the gold version of this. Now for our skills, they're quite simple. On the front bar, we are using crystal fragments, haunting curse, crushing shock. You can change this for elemental weapon should you wish, but I personally don't like it. Rune cage, endless fury, and power overload. Some people do change rune cage and put streak on the front buff or an extra shield onto the build, so that's up to you, but I personally like rune cage, especially with just how sort of frustrating it is for the target to play against, so it's really worth trying. As for the bat bar, I use boundless storm, streak, ball of lightning if you want to have arrow sort of protection and stuff, hardened ward for my shield, critical surge, and healing ward. I also use life giver, and this is a great ultimate as it's basically an all no button. One thing to note with this is when you cast this morph, it does actually cast all of these skills in the restoration stuff pretty much, and the morphs. So if you went to regeneration and you unlocked rapid regeneration, when you cast this ultimate, you get the rapid regeneration morph, which is incredibly good. So it's a really, really good ultimate to get as an all no button. If you don't have that high enough yet, or you want to just have more of a passive ult, you could go down to something like Sigil Order and get Temporal Guard, or you could even go to support and use the barrier, which is really nice as it's a big shield for you and everybody nearby, plus you can get the magicka aid passes for more regen. Alternatively, if you want to go for hold your ground in Cyrodiil or Imperial City, then using the Arch-Mage is a good option for the bat bar too. But that's all the skills and what I'll use with them. The one thing to note is that we are focusing more on the combo rather than stacking lots of damage, so you have to really perform it well, and I will go through at the end of the video to show you how to do this carefully, so do pay attention. Now I'm going to go through the sets and what I'm actually using sort of gear wise, and if you like what I'm doing so far and you will see more builds on myself, then make sure that you are subscribed so you don't miss out. As for the sets, I'm using Willpower, Blessing of Potentes, Gaze of Sithis, Crafty Elfique. I'm also using a one-piece Domahus, and I have some trainee on the build too. With how it's actually set up, we have Willpower on the staff, Restoration Staff for Potentes or a staff of your choice, Gaze of Sithis. We then go with all Elfique on the body, with the Domahus here. You can change this for either a set that gives you regen, like Magma Incarnate, or you can just go with just damage something like Kina, for example, or even Falcon Score for penetration. I then use trainee on the jewelry because they're easy to get, and I happen to have them in arcane, and I'll go one piece willpower. If you go with the willpower route like I have, you'll have lots and lots of stat damage from that front bar. But if you want to have more max resources, you can change willpower for Ancient Grace, which is a really good option, but it's incredibly expensive to buy the staffs and the weapons. And you would either have to go with Ancient Grace on the weapons or Trainee, and I don't have enough gold or transmutation crystals to do that, so that's why we are how we are. If you want to use this without a mythic item, you can change this monster set to a set of your choice, such as Engine Guardian, which is an incredibly good one, but I don't think it's actually on my character. But that's what I'd use personally. And if you need more sustain, you can swap Crafty Alphic for Bright Throat's Boast, which is okay, or you could go with Necropotence if you want to have even more magicka, but you will need to go and use the pet. If you do this, I would recommend going down to Daedric Summoning and getting the Twilight for the burst deal. And if you had to take off 2 skills, take off Rune Cage, take off Healing Ward, and you're good to go. This way you have all the stuff you need still, because you got the stun here, but you will have to double bar the Twilight to make it effective. But that there is what I use for all of that. The last thing is champion points, and as you can see with a lot of the gameplay, I played this predominantly in no CP, so I've left my PvE CP on, but I'm just going to give you a few keynotes that you may want to just focus on should you take this into CP yourself. You generally want to go up to the top and get Deadly Aim, single target damage, and Master at Arms, single target damage. You then have 2 stars of your choice. Now, I personally like going for the extra magicka down here, Arcane Supremacy. This is great for just more resources. It also gives you bigger shields. And I like going down to Jeweler's Rebuff to make me take less damage. If you want to be really bulky, you can go into Stave in Death, and you can go and get Ironclad, which makes you even tankier. So have an Ironclad with Jeweler's Rebuff will make you incredibly tanky on this build. As for the red CP, again, this is my PvE CP, but for PvP, what I normally go to is I like Hardened. This is great for when you're stunned. I also like Juggernaut as well. This is also good for when you're stunned. I then typically go for Bastion at the top, which gives me more shield strength, which is really helpful. And I also do more damage to shielded targets. And in that last one, I kind of go for what I need. I find shields are expensive, but they're not too bad, so I wouldn't slot Shield Master personally. But I'd normally go something like Slippery, just because that being stunned in PvP is really hard, and Cyrodiil can lag, so you can't always CC break. So this is a really good way to just help with the lag in Cyrodiil. Or you can go with the roll dodge one, which is down here somewhere. Expert Evasion, where you can get the roll dodge. And then for the green ones, it's quite simple. You pick what you need. The one thing I would say is get Rationer, as your food does last longer and it saves you a lot of gold. And then you can get all the movement stuff just to get you around the map a bit quicker should you wish. But the CP is kind of up to you. Now, just before I kind of wrap this video up here and just show some combos on the screen, I want to just really mention just a sorcerer that you want to check if you haven't seen a really good sorcerer before. And that is Malcolm. Malcolm is phenomenal. He has a YouTube channel and he plays sorcerer to an insane level. He's easily as good as me, if not better than me, and he does so many 1vx's with Sorc, it is insane. So if you want to see more guides on sorcerer and stuff, I would highly recommend him. Equally, if you want to just find out more, you can join my Discord and I can help you there as well. But I'm actually going to call the video here because it is long enough as it is. So I'm going to catch you in the next video. I'm going to say thanks for watching, and if you haven't done so already, make sure that you are subscribed so you don't miss out. Take care all, and bye.